So, with the previous year, I should say, having come to a close, most of the movies, and I say most, movies from 2025 have had a theatrical run, give or take how long that theatrical run is, or if some are still ongoing. But all movies from 2025 at this point should have had a theatrical run. So let's get into some business, shall we? Let us take a look at the biggest earners of the year and let us talk about the top 10 highest grossing movies domestically. Now, I say domestically because in doing prep for this, I had noticed about maybe a month earlier, I think this month, that there were a lot of movies popping up into the top 10, or should I say even into my honorable mentions, which I will talk about. And those movies were exclusively released overseas. And what I mean to say is that they were Chinese films that were not released here, and if they were released here, they were given like maybe a week's release window and then out. Even the highest grossing movie of the year, Ninja 2, given a very small theatrical run here in the States, and the reason for why it's number one isn't because of its box office that it got here in the States. It was solely because of the Chinese box office. So I have decided to make a pivot, and instead of doing worldwide total, we're still going to talk about the worldwide total, but we are going to be talking about the films that did well domestically, but also giving kudos to them for the worldwide totals as well. So, without any further ado, let us get into the proceedings. First, I want to give out, I guess, some superlatives, shall we say. For biggest overachiever, was probably the horror movies of last year. Horror had a big year last year. From Conjuring making a decent amount of money, Final Destination Bloodlines having, I think, the highest grossing film of the franchise so far, and the one that I'm actually going to put as the top of horror for 2025, which is Weapons. It had legs and good word of mouth that carried it to probably being, I think, maybe the most popular horror release that came out last year. And it's now been nominated for an Oscar, thanks to Amy Madigan's performance as Gladys. So, yeah, horror last year definitely ruled at the box office. But if I were to give out an award for biggest disappointment, last year I did it for Joker 2, because the first one made $1 billion and the second one very much did not. First one was received mixed, whereas the second one was very much not so much. It was very much on the negative side. You would think that I would say, oh, Snow White. It's easy, slam dunk, Snow White. However, it actually lands 24th in the domestic box office rankings. Pulled in just a little over 87 million here in the States, 205.6 million worldwide, and finished out the year 28th in the standings. It made more money than Predator Badlands, which is a movie that everyone universally loved. So I'm not going to give it to that. I could give it to Tron Ares because, coming off the heels of Tron Legacy, everyone loves Tron, but then, of course, I really dug the film, but some others did not. And then, of course, there is Jared Leto, which I thought his performance in that was pretty good, but others, not so much. I mean, he is nominated for a Razzie Award for his performance in that movie, and it did end up 37th on the year. So I could give it to that, but I'm not going to. I could also give it to Elio, because, Pixar, king at the box office. Their first original film in a while didn't do so well. Only made $154.2 million, and ranked 32nd on the year in terms of worldwide box office. Could do that, but I'm not going to. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast your mind back to 2019. What was the highest grossing film of 2019? Endgame, at almost $2.8 billion. That was number 1 for 2019. What was number 4 for 2019? Far From Home. Number 5, Captain Marvel. Number 6, Joker. Was there any other ones? And then we'll throw out an honorable mention. Shazam was number 25 for the year. For 2020, it's a bit shakier since, it is pandemic. But Wonder Woman 1984, even in a pandemic, and even with it streaming on HBO Max, still managed to end up 13th on the year. But pandemic kind of goes away a little bit. 2021, what's number 1 at the box office? Spider-Man No Way Home, at $1.91 billion. Venom Let There Be Carnage, number 7. Shang-Chi, number 9. Eternals, 12th. Black Widow, 13th. And James Gunn's The Suicide Squad at number 25. We go to 2022. Multiverse of Madness ends up 4th on the year, just short of $1 billion. Wakanda Forever, 6th on the year. The Batman, 7th. Thor Love and Thunder, 8th. Black Adam, 15th. And throw a bone to it, pun. DC League of Super Pets, 25th. Then we go to 2023. Guardians 3, 4th on the year. Across the Spider-Verse, 6th on the year. Quantumania, 15th. And Aquaman 2, 18th. But then we get to 2024. Deadpool and Wolverine, number 2 on the year. Just a little bit behind Inside Out 2. And then, we spoke about it earlier, Joker 2, 27th. But 2025 had no superhero movie even crack $650 million. What was once a titan of the movie industry could not crack $650 million in the box office. The closest that we got was James Gunn's Superman movie at 616. And that finished out 10th on the year. Fantastic Four, 13th on the year. Captain America, Brave New World, 17th on the year. Thunderbolts, 18th on the year. But yeah, none of them made more than $650 million at the box office, which is a shame because I think 2025 was one of the best years for superhero films at the box office, in my personal opinion. Superman was such a great start to the DCU, and all three Marvel entries were unique and individualized in their own special way. Cap 4 was a fun time, and it was really cool seeing Red Hulk on the screen. Thunderbolts was such a great movie. I think it was probably Marvel's best on the year. And Fantastic Four was the first family in Marvel done right. So, yeah, it's a shame that nothing in the superhero genre cracked 650 million, I should say, at the box office. But I have a feeling that might change this year. Just going off a little bit of a hunch, but you know, we're just going off a hunch on that one, maybe just a little bit. All right, let us move on into the listing, shall we? Before I do so, let me give props to the 10 outside of the 10. And again, we're going to be ranking these in terms of their take of the domestic box office. And we'll, of course, talk about their worldwide gross as well. So coming in at number 20 on the year domestically was The Housemaid. Raked in $116.2 million, a worldwide gross of $238.095 million, and finished 24th on the year. So, pretty good job, that movie. And if you are wanting to hear my thoughts on these movies, most of it, if not all of them, I have done reviews for. So, you can go through the back ends of the channel and check all those reviews out for yourself. Coming in at number 19 is Five Nights at Freddy's 2, even though railed by critics. Critics did not like it. Fans liked it. Grossed $127.7 million domestically, with a worldwide gross of $237.6 million, and finished 25th on the year. Next up is Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. It did good domestically, 134.5, but foreign, internationally, made almost $600 million internationally, which led to a worldwide gross of $728.2 million, and it led to it being 7th on the year. It's the 7th highest grossing film of the year for 2025. Now we get into what I was talking about a little earlier. First in a trio of horror movies. Coming in at number 17 is Final Destination Bloodlines. $138.2 million domestically, with a gross worldwide of $315.9 million, and ended up 20th on the year. So it would have been in my original format, the way that I did it last year. It would have been number 20 in my honorable mentions back then. Again, spoke about this earlier. Coming in next is Weapons. $151.5 million, with a worldwide gross of $269.072 million, and it would end up 22nd on the year. Next up, another horror movie, Conjuring: Last Rites. $177.7 million, with a worldwide gross of just a little under $500 million, $494.6 million, and it ended up 15th on the year. Next up, we have one of our Oscar contenders. It is F1, with a domestic take of $189.6 million, but it had an even better gross internationally, $442.2 million, because, F1 is very much, it is bigger internationally than it is here in the States, for sure, leading to a worldwide gross of $631.8 million, and it finished 9th on the year. I spoke about this one earlier as well, but then coming in next is Thunderbolts, gross here in the States of $190.2 million, worldwide gross of $382.4 million, and it finished 18th on the year. Next up is the final chapter of the Mission Impossible franchise, The Final Reckoning, $197.4 million, just short of $600 million worldwide, $598.7, and it just missed out on the top 10. It finished 11th on the year. And then to round out the honorable mentions, coming in at number 11 stateside, is Captain America 4, Captain America Brave New World, $200.5 million, worldwide gross of $415.1 million, and finished 17th on the year. All right, let us move into the big boys, shall we? The top 10 earners here in the States. First off, there has been a lot spoken about, the failure of the live-action Snow White movie, but Disney was not the only ones to dip their toes into the live-action realm. Universal and DreamWorks did so as well. Coming in at number 10 is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, $262.9 million here stateside, with a worldwide gross of $636.3 million, and it finished out 8th on the year. And I really enjoyed that movie. It was a fun time. I think it was roughly similar to the animated one. Not a lot of changes from it, but it's still a pretty fun movie overall. Moving on to number 9, I spoke about this film earlier as well. Fantastic Four, First Steps, $274.2 million, with a worldwide gross of $521.8 million, and ended up 13th on the year. This was a really, really fun movie. I wish more people went to go see it in theater, but with the way that, we access content nowadays, I can understand people's want to, just wait until it comes to streaming, but go check out movies in a theater, because I think it's the best way to view a movie, in my opinion. Coming in at number 8, we have another Oscar contender. In fact, it is contending for a lot of Oscars. $279.9 million, with a worldwide gross of $368.3 million. It is Ryan Coogler's Sinners. It finished out 19th on the year, but don't let that number dismiss the quality that is in this movie. It is so good. It's probably one of my favorite movies last year, and I hope it's my pick to win the Oscar for Best Picture, but that would be my vote if I was on the panel, if my vote counted. But, I'm not on the panel, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens when March comes around. Coming in at number 7 on the year domestically is another one that is competing for an Oscar for visual effects, I shall say, with $339.6 million domestically and a worldwide gross of $869.1 million. Jurassic World Rebirth. There is still money in their amber mines and dinosaurs. And plus the performances of Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali. They were really fun. The movie was fun overall, and that led it to not only get people's butts in seats at the theater, but to finish 6th on the year. Moving on to number 6 domestically, with a domestic gross of $342.8 million, worldwide gross of $526.5 million. It is the sequel to Wicked, Wicked for Good. This movie was really, really good. Arrivo and Grande's performances in this were absolutely incredible. Everyone's performances in this were really good. The original songs in this, composed specifically for this movie, really, really good. But not a lot of people went to go and see it. Well, I say not a lot of people went to go and see it. Compared to the first one, not a lot of people went to go and see the sequel, which led it to be 12th on the year. Moving on to number 5. Again, spoke about this one earlier. Domestic gross of $354.2 million, worldwide gross of $616.8 million. It is James Gunn's Superman. Like I said, this was a really good first step for the DCU going forward. I'm really liking what James Gunn has produced so far with, this Superman movie, Peacemaker Season 2. I'm looking forward to Supergirl. That's going to be coming out in my birthday month, so I'm excited for that. I think Lanterns is supposed to come out sometime in, like January, February or something like that. I don't know when, but I'm looking forward to what the DCU has to offer. And James Gunn's Superman finished 10th on the year, so it would have made my top 10 list in my original format. Moving on to another sequel. It is the sequel. It is actually the threequel, I shall say, to the highest grossing movie franchise in history. Although this movie did not make quite much as the second one made. It still made a pretty penny. $379.4 million, with tack on another billion internationally, and you have $1.379 billion at the box office. It is Avatar: Fire and Ash, the clear favorite to win Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. Again, didn't make as much money as its predecessors, but it still cracked $1 billion. All 3 Avatar movies have cracked $1 billion. 2 of them have cracked $2 billion. I'm going to say that they're probably going to make Avatar 4 and 5, because why get off the money train if it's not stopping? And it ended up finishing 3rd on the year. It got the bronze on the podium. From bronze to silver. We go to number 3. Might have gotten bronze domestically, but it took the silver for worldwide money made. $402.2 million. Tack on another billion and some change internationally, and you have a worldwide gross of $1.745 billion. It is Zootopia 2. I was not expecting the amount of, good reviews. Like, I enjoyed it. It was a really good movie. But people going to see this again and again and again, to the point in which it's now Disney's highest grossing animated film ever. Like, that is absolutely insane. And I must point this out. This is the exact reason why we're not getting, more original films from studios. It's because of stuff like this. I'm just saying. Again, this led Zootopia 2 to be second on the year. Ninja 2 was clear the number 1 of the year. But again, most of the box office from that was foreign markets, aka mostly from China. So that's why I took the approach this year to talk, the domestic side of the house. Coming in at number 2, again, well, you must go back to, the live action Snow White. People were wishing death upon that movie. They were wishing death upon that movie before the movie even came out. They were not interested. And they didn't go see it. And people were like, finally, this may put an end to the Disney live action movies. Wouldn't say that. Because domestically, our number 2 for the domestic side, $423.7 million. Tack on another $500 million or so internationally, for a worldwide total of $1.038 billion. It is the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie. Yeah, I don't think Disney's going to stop their live-action movies, considering the fact that this made $1 billion. Granted, again, Snow White didn't do so great, but people went to see this. So don't be surprised if there's going to be more live-action movies on the way. In fact, they announced the casting for the live-action Tangled movie. So they're not going to stop. And Lilo and Stitch, live-action Lilo and Stitch, took 4th on the year worldwide. Which brings us to number 1. And for this, I only have to say 2 words. Chicken Jockey. $424.078 million. Tack on another $500 million with a little bit of change, for a worldwide gross of $958.2 million. The highest grossing movie, at least domestically, was the Minecraft movie. This movie, the memes that it generated, before the movie even came out, people were memeing on this movie because of the way Jack Black spoke his lines, because of certain things like Chicken Jockey, and of course, Jack Black's, songs during the film. But when people went to see this, they took the bit to the extreme and trashed theaters with popcorn, with actual chickens, with like Minecraft stuff. You name it, they brought it. But they also brought their cash to the theater to go see this. And that's why it tops the list, at least domestically, in the box office. Worldwide, it did rank 5th on the year. So, again, only 2 words. Chicken jockey. That's all you really have to say. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my listing of the top 10 movies of the year 2025 with respect to the domestic side of the box office here in the States. Let me know in the comments which format you prefer. Do you prefer me just talking about the worldwide box office in general? Or do you like this one where we talk about domestic and worldwide box office? Let me know which format you prefer. But I think that is going to be it for now. Be safe out there. Stay warm out there. And I will catch you guys next time.